This is the 2024 Rivian R1S. It is a 7-seater electric SUV with 300-mile range and starts around $75,000. I'm here in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona at the Biltmore Resort and Hotel with my entire family. For the next 3 days, we're going to be driving around and visiting family and going on adventures in this car, logging miles, checking out all of its features, and seeing if this is the best electric SUV for your family. Let's get started. Bold, stylish, rugged. In the last 5 years, Rivian has ascended from a startup to a serious EV player that is a competitor to Tesla, General Motors, and Ford. It has aerodynamic door handles. Getting inside feels like you are boarding an LL Bean themed cruise ship. It has one single instrument on the dashboard that controls more tech than the International Space Station. The nav satellite image is crisp and detailed down to the lawn ornaments on the houses below. Even the climate control vents are directed based on the way they are dragged around on screen. The heated rearview mirrors turn on with a tap, then toggle to the middle row, and again you have every angle at which to point cold, crisp air at your passengers. The icons below toggle different menus. They are fairly straightforward, with navigation menus on the left and sub-menus to the right of that. There are more options at the top to unlock doors and open the front trunk. These convenient features work excellently every time. All exterior lighting is controlled here as well, and you can access the charge port on the driver's side. Level 2 charging will add 16 to 25 miles of range per hour, and DC fast charging is available, and it will charge up to 150 miles in 20 minutes. This frunk helped out so much during our trip, we were able to store 3 carry-on bags as well as the charging cables. Once you are back on board, you can quickly close the frunk by pressing the same button again. Next, we'll check the space in the back. The R1S has a split hatch. The lower section has a tailgate that opens manually for access, and quick release buttons to drop the middle row in a snap. And with all the seats folded down, the Rivian is huge on the inside, as well as features third row cubbies, liftgate puddle lights, and rear anchors for crossbars. The rear features one 120 volt outlet with a maximum output of 1500 watts. That would allow for an overnight space heater, which would probably consume about 5% of the overall battery. And like the R1T truck, it features the built-in air compressor at no additional charge. For second generation vehicles, it will be $350 add-on charge. And like most modern SUVs, the power liftgate closes from the push of a button. Now excuse me for 1 second, I need to grab my assistant who will show you all the fun features of this car. Push. Push. Now is the third row big?
Yep.
Is there plenty of space for all your toys?
Yep. And here. I'm gonna push this button to open the trunk. Watch, okay? Watch. See, I can.
Ta-da! Pretty sweet.
Man, to close this trunk, you have to press that button to the other button, like this. This is how we unlock the car.
If you go into these settings, so you can adjust the height of the car. So there's 3 settings for the height. So when the car is on, you can adjust the ride height and lower the car. And you can also change the regen. I feel like the regen on this is very powerful and will actually wear out your foot trying to press the gas to get it to go. So I like to leave that on a medium. You also have off-road modes for all-purpose, sport, snow. And if you go here, you have your trailer attachment. So here you can do your trailer. Once you plug in your trailer, it will adjust your distance and how many miles you have left. So when I started, I had 300 miles. We now have 156. This is cool. So as I'm pulling into my parking spot, I can see exactly where I am in the lines because these spots are so tight. So I don't even have to look where I'm going. I could just, I do have to look where I'm going, but I just have to follow the lines. And I'm in. And I'm right down the pipe, right down the middle. All right, so off we go. So you gotta touch the card with your key, and we're ready to go. So I could look at the camera and I can always see what's going on directly in front of me. This is really helpful for any sort of off-roading. It's great to have that lower camera. I also have the 360 camera so I can see above me as I'm driving. So when I started, this car came with, it was about 90% charged. It had 278 miles. It's now saying 150 miles, which is pretty accurate to what we've been driving in the past 2 days. The big thing that I noticed with this car as I'm driving, especially on the highway, is that the steering wheel really is shaking left and right frantically. It could be an alignment issue. I hope it's the alignment. I hope it's not something that's consistent on all of these cars, but it's definitely something that's been a little frustrating as I'm driving above 50 miles an hour. The steering wheel is just kind of shaking like this. The car itself doesn't move at all. It's just the steering wheel. The acceleration, if I get on it, you can hear the wheels underneath it losing grip. This car only has 22,000 miles on it, and the wheels themselves are already pretty cooked and probably will have to be changed in the next, I'd say, 3,000 miles. I think that the navigation system is excellent. It's not as good as Apple Maps or Google Maps because those really give you the perspective that you're driving. But this system's good. It definitely gets me to where we need to go. It's pretty accurate. The Tesla system I thought was horrendous. It didn't get me to where I needed to go. I was lost, and it was really confusing. The perspective on it wasn't necessarily giving me exactly when a exit would come off. It would come off a lot sooner than I realized. The best thing about this navigation system is the responsiveness as you're scrolling. It's just a really solid, good piece of software. Now I'm going over a few speed bumps. And the air suspension handles it well. Now I can actually floor it and feel the power. It's just what you need. I mean, it's 600 horsepower, 670 horsepower at the wheels, tri-motor. There's one motor on each of the rear wheels and one motor that drives the front wheels. Now when it comes to the regen, I think that the regen is a little too strong on the throttle, and my foot actually, there it's tripped the tires again. Hear the winding of the motors. So if I get the throttle to about past halfway, you hear a loud motor whirling, and the tires will most likely chirp. So what are my final impressions? I think that, oh look, it's the Waymo car. So he's recording everything. See it there? He's mapping out all the roads for Waymo, which is a autonomous company. So they're actually using, looks like a Jaguar I-Pace or E-Pace, whichever the electric version is. So my final impressions, I do love renting this car. My family's had a great time. All the kind of like tech gizmos in it, and the comfort has been really fun and exciting. My sister thinks she's gotta sell her Q7 and get one of these right away. And she's not super into electric cars, so that's a bit of a surprise. But I think just the overall kind of stance of this car and comfort is something that people enjoy. It's a little loud. I don't know if you could hear it right now. It's not as refined as I imagine her Audi is. Right now I'm hearing noise a little bit out this wheel. I'm definitely hearing tires. I'm hearing something in the back right now. So would I pay $80,000 for this car? No, I think that there's a lot. Right now, specifically at that price point, there's a lot. I mean, for $10,000 less, I would go with the Kia EV9. I think that the Kia EV9 offers better charging, faster charging, perhaps slightly better technology. Ride quality is probably about the same. It's not going to give you the off-road capability, but really, who's using that? In terms of space, they're probably pretty similar. Cadillac is going to be coming out with the EV Escalade early 2025 next year. That is probably going to sticker for over $100,000, so this might not be in the same category, but that would, I can imagine, give this a huge run for its money. It's going to pack a bigger battery that's going to give it over 400 miles of range. The comfort and quietness of the Escalade is just going to be ridiculous, and I think that is going to be something a lot of people, once you get into the $80,000 to $100,000 range, it's not that much more for someone who could afford that. So I think that this car is going to struggle a little bit against the Cadillac. There's also the Hummer. The Hummer is completely impractical. It is too big, it's too heavy. This car is already pretty big and heavy, especially compared to our Hyundai Tucson. But if you have a family of 5 or more, it's a great option. The Hummer just isn't a great option for anybody, I feel, unless you're, someone who just kind of drives it around like a truck and hauls stuff and likes to climb over a lot of big things. But so there's also the Tesla Model X with a 3-row, but that 3-row is completely horrendous and non-existent, so that's not even an option. So right now, there's not a ton of options. This car really does fill a need for a lot of families. The fact that they could get 300 miles, guaranteed 300 miles, and have access to Tesla charging stations is amazing. So this is a great car. It really is something worth buying if you're a family of 5. We're a family of 3. I think that I would be excited to see when Rivian comes out with the R1X next year. That's going to supposedly be at a lower price point and be a 2-row car. So that might be something I'd be interested in. But this isn't for me. This is strictly a rental car, and I would rent this again in a heartbeat. So that is my take on the 2024 Rivian R1S. I look forward to covering more Rivians in the future and more 3-row SUVs. In the meantime, I do have a lot of content you can check out on our Hyundai Tucson plug-in, which for the money right now, in my opinion, is the best version of an EV you can get for a family of 4 or less. It's still starting under $40,000. It no longer qualifies for the $6,000 federal rebate we received. But it's really done the job for us now for almost 3 years. It's amazing it's gone by that quickly. Thank you so much for watching. Come back for more videos, and we'll see you next time. This has been a fun trip. I've loved seeing my grandmother. She's going to be 95 next month. And I'm going to be 40 next month. So it's going to be a big month. But she is just such a spitfire. She tells it like it is. She's been out here for about 3 years. She complains about the heat. She complains about the food. But you know what? They take great care of her. And for that, I'm so thankful. I'm thankful that it brings me and my family here to see her. And with that, we are at the parking garage. I'm going to say goodbye.